Hetepu, Hetepu, Dua, Duawu, Nazareth Ramech, Hotep, greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families. And to all of you meeting me here today on the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty and the AstMaatTfNut page here for the Precious Treasure series, Immortality. And to my Nagas, my Shemsuharus, my Nesubitis, my Mutnatarts, the immortal ones of Maat, cherished, phenomenon of procession, New Age order, Great Golden Age of Maat Hapi Asar, and to all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley Cultural Cosmic Collective Consciousness, spirituality. O AstMaatTfNut Panebu, mother of the Puat Necherus, mistress of pets, maker of mankind. She who is mighty in Usu Medu Nefer, divine words of power, mother of all initiations. Bless us humble servants for Ankh life now present being. For we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 41st day after the Helical rising. 319 Harus remaining until Helical rising. Ubin Soptit, Soptis Cyrus rising. Uat Smai Tawi Wep Rimpet Digit Heb. First Haru, 5th Haru, second month of Renunet. 11th Haru, second Abet, first season of Shamu. AFNK/ST, after founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Smai Tawi. We ask that you bless our families and friends, and all those of us who have gathered together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of AstMaatTfNut Panebu, for in the art of seeking you there is much comfort. For as it is written, so let it be spoken, so shall it be done, so let it be. For now and forever forward, Ra Never Teshurah, rising always in divine excellence, every day, all day, with Ma'at, Dua, Duawu. And again, I welcome everyone to the show today. I am your hostess, AstMaatTfNut, and your host, my Ptah Secret Sar, will be with us shortly. So now those of you who have joined us, welcome back. And those of you who are here new, we welcome you as well to the Precious Treasure Immortality series. In this series, we are covering the Precious Treasure Immortality. And we are focusing primarily on the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar, which I have here. And if you don't have yours, you can order it. It's in the description, in the link under the video. And we will be covering how to use the calendar. So people get the calendar, then they're not sure how to use it, and other things. They are not sure why this calendar. They're not sure of the steps it took to get us to this calendar and away from the fraudulent Gregorian calendar. And before I continue, I'm going to now address those in the room, first three in the room. So right now, first three, we have the Calico from YouTube. He sends peace and love. Peace to you, the Calico. We have More Life from YouTube as well. She speaks peace. Peace to you, More Life. And we have Matriarch Salima Ellis from YouTube speaking greetings. Matriarch Joy, greetings to you as well. And so If you have comments you'd like to share or any questions, just put them in the comments section. We'll address them as we come to those. And so also, what I want to share is I am streaming live on the Taz Show on Facebook. Taz has invited me to his platform to share content, so I accepted, and so I'm here on the Taz Show as well on Facebook. I'm also on the Taz Show on YouTube, and I'm streaming to 6 platforms that I have. I have my Facebook, Joy Allen. I have my AstMaatTfNut Facebook page, which is only to cover this series. So if it's not about this calendar and these videos addressing this calendar, is not on that page. That page is only for this calendar. I am also on my Facebook page, Karma Did What? And I'm on my YouTube channel, The Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. And I'm also on my YouTube channel, AstMaatTfNut, which again, on YouTube, like Facebook, only covers this calendar and this series. Also, last segment, Sba-t Seeker Asar invited Sba-t to speak to everyone about their birth star. And in short, how the star that was in the sky on your date of birth is not there on your birthday. So your birthday is not the same as your date of birth. If you're over 10 years old, it's not there. So I spoke to Sba-t, and according to his schedule, because he moves around a lot, he will be here if his schedule permits. So we are going to move forward here. I think that's everything I want to do so far. All right, so now last segment, there was a video, no, it was an audio we played, and it's the audio CD that comes free with your calendar. You get an autographed calendar along with the audio CD. So if you did not catch that, you can review it on segment 2. This is segment 3 of the series. And also with this Rasaurian calendar, you get a PDF copy of the Cosmic Egg as well. And my Sba-t Seeker Asar is here. And Leslie on YouTube, she speaks peace, fam. Peace to you, Leslie, and gratitude for joining us this evening. It is 7 p.m. here where I'm at, so in some parts it may be the next day, daytime. But welcome to all of you. And now I'm going to bring Sba on here a few moments, please. Sba-t Seeker Asar, dua, dua-u.
Dua-u, parata, pupa-maat, okwaste jet. Uncle Johnson, moving up here, Paneboru Maati to you, my great queen, mother goddess, AstMaatTfNut. Dua, dua. I apologize to everyone. I had an early morning and I just got up from my power nap that turned into a power sleep. I had my alarm set, and I apologize to you, Queen Mother, for being late. And thank you again. Thank you once again for welcoming me to your platform on your series of Immortality, the Precious Treasure, and Dua, Dua, Dua.
All is divine, Sba. Just so you know, your video is a still picture, but we hear you perfectly.
It's a still picture, okay?
Yes, Rose.
I was
so just so you know, we cannot see you.
You cannot see me, okay? Camera mic, okay, let me see, cam.
There you go.
I'm back. I'm in.
You are here, and it's froze again.
Okay, I'm trying to set my computer up, and the computer's acting crazy. So yes, I'm on my cell phone right now, working towards accessing the computer at the same time. Okay, so welcome again, everybody, to the Precious Treasure, Immortality, a series which we developed, me and the great Queen Mother Goddess, AstMaatTfNut, to help everybody attain their divine birthright of immortality. And this is what it's all about. Your immortality is your divine birthright, but your rite of passage can only be attained by understanding how to tell cosmic time. What we've given you today, we've given you access to the precious treasure is the Ipeteru Shabit Temtuaru Pamaat.
We see you, Seba. Dua.
Am I fading in? Am I fading out? My sound okay?
Your sound is perfect. We've had sound issues before. Now it's the video, but we hear you very well.
Okay.
Okay, there you are.
I'm not touching the camera. I'm not touching the camera. It's doing this all on its own. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough computer technology to mess that up. So it's not me.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can hook it up with my computer at the same time.
You're good now. You're good now.
Okay, so before I begin, we will begin to. Oh goodness, my shirt's all messed up.
Right now we can't see it because your camera froze again. But go ahead.
You can't. My camera froze up again.
Yeah.
That's terrible. This is terrible. First it was the sound. Now it's okay. Okay, there's the camera back on. It's supposed to be okay.
Let's see. It is. Very good. Okay.
For all of those interested in attaining their divine birthright, we have weekly classes. We have classes on Tuesday evenings and classes on Friday evenings. We teach the ancient African Rasaurian Khemetic Lunar Calendar, how to tell cosmic time. We teach you how to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being, which is immortality. We also teach you how to read, write, speak, teach, and translate AstMaatTfNut. Everyone should learn to read, write, speak, teach, and translate AstMaatTfNut. There are many teachers that you can go to. There's a multitude of teachers you can go to. Here on this particular platform with the Queen Mother Goddess, we teach the Nagaship. We are the Nagaship Association. We are also the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. We are built upon this, our great divine young Grand Master Sba, young Master Teacher Duncan G, and also our young Master Teacher, our elder student TNT96MRD, who we hope will be joining us today within the series of this evening. TNT96MRD will align you to your divine birthright, to the star of your birth, and to the star of your transition, so that he can align you to the cosmic tapestry, to the fabric of the universe. This is what they stole from us. They stole many of things from us. But what they truly stole from you was your divine birthright, so that your child and your son, your daughter, your grandchildren can never acquire this ability to experience the phenomenon of being. We have many of ancestors within the last 400-year period of this last transition from the great golden age of Pisces, European Pisces, which is known in AstMaatTfNut as the great golden age of Uncle Set. We just dawned upon the great golden age of you may know as Aquarius if you study European astrology and European astronomy. But in our ancient African, indigenous, primordial, cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality texts within the AstMaatTfNut, it is known as the great golden age of Maat Asar. They will not let you know about this phenomenon of precession, or this precession of equinox. Okay, so TNT96MRD will align you to your star of your birth. He gave me back my birth star. I didn't know. Everybody wants to know what star, because what happens is when they stole time, They gave us a Gregorian chronological timeline, or not even a Gregorian chronological timeline, but which is synonymous with all calendars on this planet. It's called a lunar cycle calendar. The Chinese have a lunar cycle calendar. The Ethiopians have it. The people in Africa today have a 30-day month calendar. And everybody knows mathematically that every 29 days, the moon waxes and wanes. So if your calendar has a 30-day cycle in a month, it means it's a lunar cycle calendar. And it's used specifically and primarily to detach you from your cosmic frequency. It's an agricultural calendar. It's used to feed you. Its only purpose is to feed you. And of course, to measure the woman's menstrual cycle and the birth and gestation and the high tide and low tide, and also can regulate the inundation and the receding of the Nile, the River Nile, or the River Hapi. Okay, other than that, it has no use for us. Now, this calendar, our calendar, which took me 50 years to design, is a 3-in-1 solar cycle lunar calendar, in which it will connect you to the cosmic environment. So everybody, before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week, and time was kept by charting stars that were visible on our calendar, aware of the movement of the earth, stars, and moon. These ancient African, indigenous, primordial, ancestral peoples were cosmically attuned.
Yes, Sba. So, I spoke my Hesi before you came in.
Yeah. Yes, Queen Mother. Let me perform my Hesi. Let me perform my Hesi, my Saku, my affirmation, so that I may command the cosmic forces that allow me love God, allow us love, guidance, protection to the daily experiences upon matter. So I may ask the ancestors, to ask the ancient ones, and to ask the ancient ones in the Ptah, Netarus, or the gods and goddesses. May I command the Usa-Medu-Nefer, the divine words of power, so that I may have permission to speak here on your platform and to address your audience. This is called Primordial Temple Discipline, Divine Rules of Engagement. And it goes as follows. Hetepu, Hetepu, Dua, 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 Dua-u, Dua-u. Anazalak, Ramech, Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families. My Nagas, my Shemserus, my Nesubitis, my Hemets, my Sba-t, Mutnatats, the immortal ones of Maat, cherished, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, the great golden age of Maat Asar, and all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley, cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality. O AstMaatTfNut Panebu, the mother of the Netarus, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is mighty in Usa-Medu-Nefer Heka'u, divine words of power, mother of all initiations, bless us humble servants for Ankh, life, being, now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Ma'atian ways and ancient Ma'atian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 41st day of the year after the Helical rising. 319 days remaining until Uben Subtit Cyrus rising, Upawat Samatawi, Wetren Pet Digiheb, New Year celebration. The 5th day of the 2nd month of Renunet, the 1st day of Mesta, the 11th day of the 2nd month of the 1st season of Shemu, year number 10, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, phenomenon of procession, New Age order, the great golden age of Maat Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of AstMaatTfNut, for in the act of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done, so shall it be for now and forever forward. Ra Navateshara, Pa Nata Apupamaat, Uncos Dejit, Uncle Jal Seneb, Uben Nefi Kia Panebu Aru Maati, rising always in divine excellence with Maat, every day, all day. Dua, dua, dua. So what we just performed there is your divine history. That is your cosmic algorithm raw calibration. You have to command the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, protection, not only to speak, but in order for you to operate yourself within your daily environment through these netarus. The netarus are the elements. The netarus are, and scientifically, they're known as matter. Matter is solids, liquids, and gases. Matter is anything that has mass, weight, and occupies space. You have to be able to communicate to these netarus, for these are your ancestors. These are your primordial ancestors. This isn't spookism. This is not spookism. This is sacred science. This is divine mathematics. This is your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. You have astrology and you have astronomy to give you absolute accountability and star validation, right? So you have to understand, you have to be able to applicate. This is your divine birthright, your immortality, to be able to do this as melanated people. They can speak to their God. They have a God that they believe in. The armies of the forces whose time has not yet left, where ours are the army of the Shemsaru whose time has come. But first of all, if you don't know how to tell time, then you don't have a clue to what I'm talking about. You're under Gregorian timeline. You're under a Gregorian chronological timeline, which is a lunar cycle calendar. And this is how they stole everything from you. This is why you don't know. I mean, ask yourself the first primary question. Primary question is, how is it that they stole our divine birthright from us for the last 4,000 years? Why isn't that none of the teachers even talk about this? Why is it that none of the teachers they talk about, oh, we're going to perform our Hesi Asaku, and then they'll tell you, I say Ashe, Namaste, Namaste, and they take out a piece of bucket, a vase, and pour water into a plant, and ask the ancestors for permission to speak. That was good back in the 70s, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, back in the year 2000. But 2010, we've entered into a new great golden age when everything, definitive answers require definitive explanations and divine absolute accountability. There has to be accountability or there's a violation. So I'm here today to make sure that we address all of these divine. Yes, Dua, Panatapa, my Queen Mother Goddess. We welcome you to the platform. We want everybody to know how to tell cosmic time, because the first thing you learn when you're a child is your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s. You learn your colors. You learn how to tell time. You learn how to write your name. And you learn how to, if somebody touches you in the wrong spot, to call the police or tell your mother. Okay? We're grown men and women and don't even know how to tell time. So before we begin to tell you time, let me just put you on it's the second path to primordial temple discipline and divine rules of engagement of a Naga, a Shemsaru, a Nesubiti, a Hemet, a Sba-t, a Munatat, these immortal ones of Maat. The first questions you ask yourself is, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? In order to answer these questions, from beginning early in the morning when the sun rises, you have to understand that our existence is based upon a frequency, a vibration. We resonate with the cosmic environment. So what they did to keep you from thinking right is they gave you a bad diet. We don't have a diet. We have a livit, an Livit or Live-it, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And the livit, it represents the golden Naga rules of immortality. There are 5 rules in the livit. Livit is not a diet. If you ate that man's food today, then you've been unfrequentized. You have been Hellenized and lobotomized. You have been subject to the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines of ancient humanity. You're supposed to be so slick. You're supposed to be so OG. You're supposed to be pot up on the times. I know how to do this. You don't know nothing. All you are is pawns on a chessboard, pieces that cannot move unless somebody tells you to move. You have to separate yourself from this. So first you have to have a frequency, a vibration. This vibration begins from your body. The body is the temple. The temple is the het that houses the Abakaku, that houses the Ba, the soul, and the Ku, the spirit, which addresses these cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of quantum matter. So the first thing you learn is when you wake up in the morning, all you do is break rules. You violate yourself every day. They do not have to even condition you to put chains on your head, chains on your neck, put you back in shackles. This is all AI today. It's artificial intelligence. They condition you every second of the day so that you create the UNP upon yourself. UNP is an acronym which means unnecessary pain and punishment. You love it. You love waking up and putting this punishment on yourself. And then you punish your own children. You don't give them a chance to achieve, to aspire, to be what they can truly be, their full potential. You set them on a path of limitations because you set them upon a path of not being frequentized. The dream is not to be a president. The dream is not to be a basketball star. The dream is not to be the best person to sell the most drugs on the corner. The best dream is not to be who could shoot how many black people you could shoot. The dream is immortality. And immortality can only be achieved by first applying the primordial temple discipline methodology. And we are here at Queen Mother Goddess's AstMaatTfNut platform. And if anybody would like to make sure the Queen Mother is a official global distributor of the Ancient Rasaurian Khemetic Solar Civil Lunar Calendar and the Methodological Star Timeline. So you can purchase your calendar today on her link below. She'll show you the link where you can order your calendar. It also comes with a DVD. The DVD gives a translation, breakdown, and explanation of the dynamics and properties of the ancient Rasaurian Maat. And you also receive a PDF file copy of my book, The Cosmic Egg, aka The Primeval Germ, The Journey of 59 plus 21 zeros. So if you do not buy a calendar today, or you don't have a calendar already, then you are suffering from the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines of ancient humanity. You have been Hellenized and lobotomized. We're here to help you remember. We're here not to help you remember. When you remember, you still become Hellenized because it's in the etymology. They corrupted the etymology. They corrupted the Sanskrit. Everything that they did, all the doctrines upon this planet have been altered, changed, and rearranged, and re-modified. So what we have to do is we have to take the RE and turn it to RA. You have to modify. You have to remember. You got to collect your dismembered body parts within the metaphysical aspects of our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. Uncle Set chopped up the pieces of our side to 14 pieces. We have to reassemble and return ourselves back to our divine birthright. And to begin this in a more simpler manner, I'm going to try to express this to the laymen's and to the novices in very simple terms, but I hate saying that because that's an insult on your intelligence. I'm not here to babysit you. I'm not here to entertain you, and I'm sure not here to take your temperature. I'm only here for the ancient ones, the divine ones of Ma'at, the children of Ma'at who are the Shemsu Haru. And so the first thing you have to learn is the Livit. What are the 5 golden rules of the Livit? The first rule, number 1, is eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, do not put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. So let me reiterate. The first rule is the first rule is to eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth is water that doesn't have a seed. That's rule number 1. Very simple rule. You broke that this morning. You know you broke it. Rule number 2, never eat and drink at the same time. Rule number 1, eat only of the seed. Yes, the memoirs. Yes, Queen Mother got it. Eat only of the seed. Now, rule number 2, never eat and drink at the same time, meaning do not mix your solids with your liquids. Because when you do, you create an acidy brew within your stomach. This is why everybody is all bloated. You receive the bloating effect, meaning your stomach pops up. We got men running around with bellies bigger than a woman that's 8 months pregnant, and they think this is normal. They're losing their hair, and this is when all the sicknesses start to come in. So when you eat solids, you chew it, goes through your throat, down to your stomach, and then it enters into the large intestines. When you drink, now you have to wait. You eat your food, eat your solids, and then you have to wait. When you finish eating your solids, you wait. A novice or an apprentice or anybody who's just, any layman who is just entering into this new world order, not new world order, this new age order, you would drink 45 minutes later. You have to wait 45 minutes and you'll feel it. You'll feel your stomach go, oh, you feel a releasement. And it's releasing because the food is going inside the large intestine, in which you would come out your stool. I'm sorry, I did not turn my phone. Okay. And then when you drink, 1 second, please. And when you drink, it goes to your stomach, to your throat, to your small intestine, in which you urinate. Okay? And so, but when you eat and drink, you know when you ate that food today, if you're right-handed, you're eating with your spoon or your fork, and you know darn well your left hand's reaching up to that table to grab that drink. You know, as soon as you eat, you're grabbing that drink, eating that food, grabbing that drink, eating that food, grabbing that drink. You've been Hellenized from the bottom line. You're suffering from the ancient humanity. You're suffering from the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines of ancient humanity. Yeah. So if you was to eat with your right hand, take your left hand, tie it behind your back when you eat, just hypothetically speaking. Okay, don't get drastic. Don't go overboard, okay? Don't let the family think that you're losing it. Okay? But you'll see when you start to eat, you're gonna rip that arm out. You're gonna rip that arm out just to get to that glass of water. That's how trained you are. Rule number 2 is never eat and drink at the same time. Just trying to keep a little comedy here because I want you to take the edge off the thing. I try to keep a little humor. But as you see what happened to the brother from Black Panther, you just heard about him at 40 years old, 41 years old. He's got colon cancer. We know they dropped something in his food when he made that movie, but people do not live. Our people do not live over 40 years old, 50 years old. You've already resigned to a body bag and a toe tag. They told you you're only supposed to live till you're 60 years old. You've been set up on a path of limitation by eating this food. Our people, us melanated people, live to be hundreds and 200 years old. The great great elders back in the day lived to be 500 years old. It takes 100 years just to understand what you've been living through and to be able to calculate it and to proceed forward for the next 400 years. They got you designed that after 60 years old, you're already digging your ditch. He told you you're going to live to be 60 years old on January. You're in front of the cemetery jumping in the ditch, and you're not even dead. You've been programmed to exterminate yourself. So let me get back to the 5 rules. Look at the 5. First rule is eat only of the seed. Second rule is never eat and drink at the same time. Rule number 3 is eat as the table earth prepares the food. From the vine, from the tree, or from the ground. It's only coming from 3 places. Unless you're getting a drop off from UNICEF and it's coming out the air from an airplane, it's only coming from 3 places. From the ground, from the earth, or from the tree. That's rule number 3. Eat as the table earth prepares the food. The air you breathe should be as the food you eat. In with the good, out with the bad. When you eat one piece of meat, it goes to your stomach and down into your system and it stays for 7 days. It doesn't leave your body for, it takes 7 days to digest one piece of meat. You eat meat 3 times a day, 7 days a week on the Gregorian calendar, and you eat it for 365 and 360 days until the age you are now. They're wondering how you're still living. They're wondering how you made it to 40 years. They got you designed to die at 20. Right out of high school, you're supposed to be dead, according to them. They destroy your divine birth or immortality. Rule number 4 is never eat to your fill. Never eat to your fill, meaning don't glut yourself. Don't overeat because you'll shut the body down. You know, when you eat that meat, all that meat, you ready to go to sleep. You ready, the body shuts down. Rule number 4 is never eat to your fill. First of all, number 4, don't eat everything in the room. Say something for somebody else. It's AsmaatTfNut of you to eat everything around you. Rule number 4 is never eat to your fill. And rule number 5 is to fast occasionally. For certain periods of the year, you must refrain from eating to cleanse, detox, and purify the body of all its impurities so that you can begin. And we usually do these fastings during the solstices and the equinox and the full moon cycles, depend upon the level of spiritual attainment that you have, that you would perform this during the Ipetaru, Shabit, as the sun goes through the phenomenal precession or as the earth rotates around the sun. You should perform these tasks. You know what you ate last night. You know you crept in that kitchen, ate that apple pie, got that ice cream, got a bag of chips. You know you got your little sweet and sour Joneses, right? You know what you did, okay? Then you got the kids doing that. You got the kids eating late at night. Your body cannot digest food while you sleep. You cannot move your bowels while you sleep. A woman cannot give birth while she's laying down in the bed. They keep laying females, our queen mothers, on the bed to have birth. The stomach does not work that way through gravity. You're communicating with the primordial field force of gravity. And gravity, try laying down in your bed and taking a dump. You can't do it unless you got diarrhea. If you got diarrhea, it's not gonna make no difference. That liquid's coming up. But if you don't have diarrhea, you move your bowels. You have to go sit down. It's the same thing with a woman giving birth. But anyways, these are the 5 rules of the limit. And for those of you who don't know about the body frequencies, they have a guy on YouTube and on the www web. His name is Dr. Taino, Tiano, Dr. Taino. Tiano, Dr. Taino, body frequency. That's all you got to do. Google body frequency, Dr. Taino, and he'll show you that scientifically They regard us as walking dead. You are under 24 and under candida. Candida is death. Candida, when you put out your tongue, and it's a big, thick white film across your mouth. If you got a big white film on your mouth, you got candida. Candida is like cancer. It's death. So actually, you're walking dead. You are scientifically dead. That your eyes are moving, your mouth is talking, you're breathing, but you're scientifically dead. We move upon a frequency, a body frequency of 120 above. We're moving on vibrations that are universal. They've captured us, imprisoned us, and then implemented their European training upon us, so that now we voluntarily kill ourselves. We kill each other. Black man goes out and sees another black man. He wants his black. I want what you want. He shoots him to get what he wants. This whole trend of thinking begins with, first of all, with your food you eat. Because when you eat of the seeds and you eat of the fruit in the morning, this gives you the proper frequency. This is called your first day. First of all, let me just say, many of us and many of our ancestors who sacrificed their lives for us during this transatlantic slave trading, who gave up their lives just to get us here, never had their first day. They sacrificed themselves to get you where you're at today. So do not throw this gift away, your gift of immortality, because then, as above, so below, the great golden age of Pisces in European astrology, as we call Uncle Set, was coming to its final end in the year 2012. This is called the great golden lotus. When the golden lotus opens, make sure that your eyes see it, because it opens for you. This is why you must understand cosmic time. So let's go into this cosmic time. You know, when I talk, Queen Mother, sometimes I lose perspective of time, of this GMT, UTC. But if you would like to speak at this moment, Queen Mother, to take time out to tell everyone how to receive their calendar, and so on, I bow down to you, my great Queen Mother Goddess, because I am here to listen for your instructions, because you are the great Queen Mother.
Dua Usiba, Ptah, Seeker, Asar. So yes, Carleaf Livingston, thank you for being here. And so to receive the ancient African Khemetic, the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar, the 3-in-1 calendar, it is year number 10. You can, it's $25, so you can go through the PayPal and purchase your calendar, or on Etsy. You can also CashApp for the calendar as well. Now, some of these payment methods people do not use. They use other payment methods such as money order, which Ptah Seeker Asar has provided his information, mailing address to send your postal money order. On the www.ptahoriginals.com, you can also order the calendar there. And but if you have a payment method that's not posted, that we've not mentioned, you can inbox me on my Facebook page at Joy Allen, and or you can email me. I'm going to share my email address now. Hold on here. I have a email address for the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty page, which is my main page for my platform. So this is my Gmail account. So if you have a special request for a payment method to receive your calendar, just email me and let me know, and we will work with you to make sure you get your calendar. And right now, that's all I have. I personally am looking forward to getting into the months of the calendar and to show you all what the different colors, the color codes and things mean. So when you're using your calendar, you'll know how to read it as I know how to read it, and as my Ptah Asar knows how to use it as well. Sba, back to you if you would, please.
Dua pamahat ang konstijet ang kujasanev. Ubanapiki Panaburu. I would love to go there, but we're not even an hour into the show yet, Queen Mother God. Let's say that for the second hour. First of all, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you perfect. And just so you know, because you came in late, I am not at the office tonight, so we don't have to end at 9 and rush out. I'm at home. Take your time.
Okay. Beautiful. Divine. Excellent.
Take care.
First of all, people might want to ask the question because most people don't have a clue. Somebody says, "Oh, eating a Big Mac." They're already killing themselves. Why do I even know? I got a calendar on my wall. I know what time it is. You don't know what time it is. They stole your time. First of all, for those who want to learn how to tell cosmic time, and why is it that I am now known as a slave, as a nigger, as a shiftless nigger, slave, lazy, no good nigger? Why am I known as this? Why do Black lives not matter? Why, when I go on the street, police want to kill me? What is the reality of your existence? What are you perpetuating yourself on? You have to understand that any scholar, I am not a scholar, but I have scholarship. I would insult myself to call myself a scholar, because that means that I'm a European or a Greek or a Roman, a school of Ptolemy, which is an insult to melanated thinking. But first of all, since they stole everything from us and they raised everything, get the scholarships. You have to learn the scholarship to go in and we can hear you. Thank you, Queen Mother. So, first thing you got to ask yourself is, how did they steal our time? So, if you ought to understand it through a mathematical equation, because we're going to explain this mathematically, scientifically, and with your cultural cosmic spirituality, with astrology, astronomy, so that you may have absolute accountability and style validation. Because I'm only here. We are only here to help you remember. Because you have a bad case of PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. You got a bad case of you cannot remember a thing. All you barely can remember is what happened yesterday and what's going on today, sadly. So what they did was, in 754 AUC, which we've done this in the first two shows, but most people watching today might be new. So I want to make sure you go back and watch the previous shows that'll catch you up to these shows. This is a continuous series.
And the links to segment 1 and segment 2 are in the description below.
Yes, and those are available in the description below. So if you first want to breeze right through it, how we understood that they stole our time is because they keep having calendar reforms. Why do you keep reforming the calendar? If you got a calendar, the calendar is supposed to just flow with time. The reason they keep reforming the calendar all through history, which affected our story, because we're not here to discuss his story or history. We're here to discuss our story. Let's spend time talking about our story, which has nothing to do with history. History is based on a 5,000-year-old story that they compartmentalize our 10 million year story, or our 10 million year history, which we have not history. We have a story. We have no religion. We have a spirituality. So once you get past this the etymology they use to corrupt our thinking, you're able to put things in its proper perspective. But 2,020 years ago, you count backwards, you get the AD on the Gregorian chronological timeline. And dua. And now you count upward. You go to 0, you count upward. They can only count to 1000 BCE, which is when the Kush kings took over Kemet. Spoke to Pyongyang, Tahaka, Shabaka, and P. And during this period, you count forward again, it's all speculation on the Gregorian chronological timeline because 1700 BCE is supposed to be Akhenaten or Amenhotep IV. And before that, they can't keep time. And then they said the pyramids are 5,000 years ago. And they use this dynasty theory through the Palermo stone, which gives the king's list. And at the Temple of Abydos in Luxor and Abydos, they have, in the Temple of Ramesses, they have the king's list. Other than that, they don't know how to keep time behind that. So this is why we have to understand cosmic time. So what they did in 754 BCE, when, or AUC, Ab, Urbe, Gotita, please. AB is Ab, Urbe is URBE, and Cortita, CORDITA. If you put an AUC, the computer is going to know that you're a theologian or an ecclesiastic person. And they want you to get this information because it's used to train European people to keep us mentally, physically, spiritually bounded within the Hellenistic paradigm doctrine. So if you use AUC, you'll see they're going to give you the information of Eratosthenes and Aristarchus when the Greeks came in 754 BCE, and because the two kingdoms were fighting, the kingdom of Upper Kemet, which is in the Delta, the brothers were fighting. Daddy don't love you more than he loves me, and Daddy gave me the throne, or Mommy gave me the throne, and they killed each other. And now the cousins took over the throne, and then the Kush kings came up and said, "Oh, we gotta jump on top of this and make sure everything is cool." And so they became the Sba-t. They unified the lands, so on and so forth. But in that midst, the European factions were just beginning to recognize the riches and the treasures that were in Kemet. And I say Kemet, I mean all of Africa. But when I say Africa, I like to use the word Ta Mary. Ta means earth, Mary means beloved, or Tanisha, which is the land of the bow, or Ta Neferu, the land of the gods and goddesses. Some people like to use Kemet, and they got the big thing about that word. Kemet means the black land, or does it mean the black soil? Does it mean the black people? Does it mean the sand people? So on and so forth. But I like to use the word Ta Mary. Okay, for the word for Africa, a lot of people use Dr. Labaz, so on and so forth. But anyway, now during that time, the Greeks came in and they conquered Kemet. We know this. Now the Greeks are 300. The Greeks are 300 BCE. Now we're talking 750 BCE. So this is 400 years before the Greeks became a nation state. They were nothing but a group of islands. So the Greeks came in because we know that because there is mention of Eratosthenes and Aristarchus. So the first calendar reform begins then. Then as all the European countries found out it was up for grabs, here comes Nebuchadnezzar and Nabopolassar, 666 BCE. They took over. Then came the Libyans, ran Nabopolassar out. Then came Darius and Xerxes. They came in. And then the Persians came in. Okay? It's a free fall of raping, pillaging our lands. But at the end of all that came 322, 3 BC, Alexander the Great. Alexander the so-called great, because he's nothing but a great killer of black teachings and black people. But Alexander of Macedonia came in, and when he took over Kemet, he was born in 23 BCE, 323 BCE. He became ruler of the known world in 300 BCE. And then he went to India and conquered the whole European nations all the way over to India, below China and Mongolia. And when he died in Persia, he died in India, he gave his kingdom to his generals. And his generals, there was 18 main generals. And one of them's name was Ptolemy. And Ptolemy drew the long stick, and he became the ruler of Kemet. And when he got there, they had to make him, he said, "Make me a god." And they said, "We're not making you a god. You're a phone. You're nothing." So what he did was he played the Hellenistic paradigm game is he massacred everybody. He massacred everyone down to the children. Everybody showed up, and then he said, make me a god." They said, "What stood up?" Then he just started killing so many of us that he cut everybody's tongues out. He castrated everybody. And then somebody with enough sense say, "Listen, hey, what do you want? You want to be a god? You can be a god. We'll make you a god. We'll make you peanut butter jelly sandwich. You make anything you want. You stop killing us." So the priest of Memphis made him a god. They put a pot on his head, the flowers for the happy, and made him Serapis. So his name became Ptolemy the First, September, Ptolemy the First, Serapis, Ptolemy the First, Soter, Serapis, September, Meryamet. And so at this time, he became a small god, and and then it was at this time that the crops did not grow. And nobody could figure out why it did not grow because he already killed all the astrologers, he killed the prescribes, he killed everybody that could tell him. But there was somebody who told him that the spring equinox, the sun is not lined up with the spring equinox. This is the whole point of the conversation right now is that because you're under a lunar cycle calendar today, you must understand this mathematical equation because that's what you have to understand. The sacred divine mathematics, the sacred science, and the cultural cosmic comes to spirituality in order to have primordial temple discipline. Let me just move right in, Queen Mother. Am I talking? Am I boring everyone right now, Queen Mother? Okay. So now, every 130 years, one unearned day is added to the calendar. So you're not going to see it in your lifetime, and your child is not going to see it, and your second descendant is not going to see it. But 500 years down the line, the sun doesn't line up with the spring equinox. It drifts. So when it drifts and you don't catch it, when you plant the seed in the spring, the crops are not going to grow because the spring is already passed by 2 weeks, 3 weeks, almost a month. So this means the crops will not grow. So that means the population is going to stop. Mainly the peasants and the poor people and the farmers and the priests and the hierarchy, they're going to eat all the food. But there was known that in Kemet, they farmed, they store water, they stored food in granaries and things of that sort. So here's the problem right there. Calendar reform, they had to reform the calendar. So the second calendar reform, we had first calendar reform, this group, write this down in your notes, 754 AUC. Second calendar reform is the Decree of Canopus, 1, 2, and 3, which is the calendar reform 2, 3, and 4. And Decree of Canopus 1 is the Ptolemy the First. Decree of Canopus 2 is the Ptolemy the Third. And Decree of Canopus 4 is the Ptolemy the Fifth. And Decree of Canopus number 5 is better known as the Rosetta Stone to give you a better reference, cross-reference in your due diligence as a scholar. Okay. Now, the next calendar reform comes in 46 BCE, which is Julius Caesar, who has the Julian calendar. So every time the crops don't grow, they have to reform the calendar. And the next one was Julius calendar, the Julian calendar, which is the Greco-Roman calendar, which is the calendar that you have on your wall. The Gregorian calendar is a product of the Greco-Roman. I don't have a calendar on my wall. I got my own calendar. I'm pointing to the wall like it's your wall. It's not my wall. I don't have a Gregorian calendar on my wall. Matter of fact, I fear those who have a Gregorian calendar. I feel pity for those who have a Gregorian calendar on your wall because you are fabricating your own pain. But anyways, they call that UNP, unnecessary pain and punishment. But you know you love it that way, just the way you like it. We're trying to get you to condition yourself into your spirituality. But anyways, calendar number 4. Calendar number 5 is the Julian calendar. So this is how we know that there are 9 days in a week. Everybody on this planet knows there's 9 days in a week except for Black people. You actually think there's 7 days in a week. You actually think that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the days in a week. When everybody knows there's 9 days in a week. Before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week, and time was kept by charting stars that were visible on our calendar, aware of the movement of the Earth, stars, and moon. These ancient African, indigenous, primordial ancestral peoples were cosmically attuned. Now, How do we know there's 9 days a week? Here we go. Let's prove this. Do your scholarship. You can understand. Oh, theologians know this. Everybody on the planet knows this. Julius Caesar reformed the calendar. He puts his knife up to Sosthenes. Write this down. Sosgenes. Sosthenes. Sosthenes was the vizier of Cleopatra, the daughter of Ptolemy. And he puts his knife up to Ptolemy's neck. He says, I'm Caesar. Io vine, io vede, io vece, which in Latin means I came, I saw, I conquered. And he says, I'm Caesar, put me on the map. So we went from 9 days to 8 days. We went from 10 months to 11 months. Caesar gets assassinated in the Senate. You know, YouTube gurus, you know, they said the Ides-Mats, the IDLES, the Ides-Mats. Don't go to the Senate meeting, they're going to kill you. I'm Caesar, I conquered Rome, I conquered Gaul, I conquered Egypt, I conquered the world. I could go where I want. So he ends up going to the Senate meeting and dies. Enter Tiberius. And then after Tiberius came his adopted godson, Augusta. And Augusta rose up on Sosthenes. Sosthenes had bad 10 years. And they puts his knife up to his neck. He says, I'm Caesar, Augusta, put me on the map. So we went from 8 days to 7. We went from 11 months to 12. Now, put it together, family. Are you with me, family? Put it together. This is all in your supposed to be in your studies if you're a scholar. If you're a Greek and a Roman and you're doing your due diligence, remember. So now we know that December is our 12th month. But the Latin root word for 10 in Latin and Spanish is dice or diez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Diez is 10. Dice is 10. But it's our 12th month. How can that be? Unless you're just not wrapped in the brain, unless you're suffering from PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Now, dice means 10, but it's December's our 12th month. Dua. We're here for you, especially for those who have already bought their calendar. Dua. We're going to break it down for you in a minute. I just want to bring the rest of the family up the pot to understand why they're walking around in limbo. So now we know November is our 11th month, but Nove, the Latin root word for Nove is Nueve. Nove is 9. Nueve is Spanish, Nove in Latin. And November is our 11th month, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nueve is Nove. Nueve means 9, but it's our 11th month. October is the Latin root word for 8, because an octopus has 8 tentacles. As in geometry, an 8-sided geometrical symbol is an octagon. Octo is the Latin root word for 8, but yet October is our 10th month. Then you have Sept. Sept is our 9th month, but Sept is Siete, and Septe in Latin means 7. But it's our 11th, it's our 9th month. So how can 7 be our 9th month? Because of 2 historical figures who don't even belong on the calendar. One is July for Julius Caesar. The other is August for Augustus Caesar. So the Romans named their months from Janus is January. You know, you'll see the coin with 2 heads on it, the stock market. Gee, we're Janus. We'll supply you with great investments. That's Janus, is the Roman god of politics, and so on and so forth. Janus has a wife named a mate called Phoebe, which is February. Then, of course, Mars, the war god. And then we have February, March, April. April is the Roman god of vegetation. And April has April, May. May is his consort. Then comes June. June is the god of fortune, of death and life, and so on and so forth in their Roman fanatical, whatever it is they believed in. So now, after that, since their culture or whatever it was that they had, if you want to say that they had, it was only 400 years old. So they ran out of names. So then they began the rest of the process of the calendar with numbers, Roman numbers. Septe, Octe, Nove, Dise. The Roman calendar only went up to Dise, and it had the shortest of years because it was based on the cycles of the moon. So it has had 150 and 354 days in a year. So they could never grow crops. That's why they always imported their food from heaven. Okay, now the days of the week. Now that you know that that's wrong, the days of the month that he keep hearing these Kemetic people. Welcome to this is what is this month? This is September. This September, September the 3rd.
And they'll say
September 3rd. We want to welcome you to today's show. They just Hellenize your brain. They use contraband as black people conditioning other black people with the mental, physical, spiritual, suffocating slavery to begin their broadcast. It's just like the slave master talking to you. They're no different. They don't know what they believe in. They don't understand the concept of self-creation. They don't know how to tell time because they keep using this. I've asked every Kemetic community that I know of, and they all kicked me out. I've been ostracized. I've been exiled from the Kemetic community because I tell them there's 9 days in a week. This mathematical equation has fried the brain of every Kemetic teacher. Send them to Ptah, Asar, and I will back my words up. Every Kemetic teacher, every great teacher does not know this information. And everybody in the world, all theologians, all European people, all Chinese people, all the Indian people, Eskimos in the South and North Pole know there's 9 days in a week. Before the Romans and the Greek, there was 9 days in a week. And we just proved it. Now let's just, the days of the week. Sunday, you know the days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know the days of the week. Don't act like you don't know. Sunday, remained African, was the day of the sun. Tuesday, Monday, the day of the moon, remained African. Because in Spanish, Monday is lunes. Lunes is the moon. Now, here comes the trick now. They keep them two names that are African, but now they threw the finagle on it. They finagled the bangle. Okay? Here it comes. Tuesday. Tuesday is the Roman goddess Tui, the Roman goddess of vegetation. And Tui in Spanish is Mates. So Mates is equated to the planet Mars. Now comes Wednesday. Wednesday, we jump from Rome up to Norway to the Norwegians to the Vikings. And Wednesday becomes Woden. Woden becomes Odin. So Wednesday comes from the Vikings in Norway. And so now Wednesday is Woden, and Woden has a son named Thor. And Thor becomes Thursday. So you got Wednesday and Thursday is from the Vikings influence into Rome and into England. And so now we go to Friday, we come back down to Rome to Frigga. Frigga, Frigga, not nigga, Frigga. Frigga is the Roman goddess of conjunctural merriment. Everybody takes off their clothes and starts fornicating. And they got the guy with the grapes on his head. They got these two flutes. His name is Bacchus. Bacchus plays the flute, and the wine starts to pour, and everybody takes off their clothes and they start fornicating. That's Frigga. Frigga becomes Friday, and Friday in Spanish is Viernes. So Viernes is Venus. Of course, Jueves Jupiter. Thursday in Spanish is Jueves. Jueves from Jupiter, and Wednesday is Woden. Wednesday in Spanish is Mercury, so that's Mercury. Since I missed that, and then Saturday becomes Saturn. So that's where the names of the days and weeks came from. Of course, show them the schematic, please, Queen Mother, of the days of the week. And you'll see that I took the original day. It took me 50 years to find out the original days of the week. So the first day is the day of the sun. We know it's Ra. And as we move from the Ra, coming to the earth, there's the moon. So the moon becomes the second day, which is the day of Jehuti. The third day, now we move from the sun to the moon. Now we're on the earth. So the third day would be Seb. Seb is the neck of the earth, not Geb and not Keb. Anybody that's calls the earth with a G is corrupted information. He's Ptolemized it. He's Hellenized it. He's using Gardner's, he or she is using Gardner's sign list or E.A. Wallace Bulge or Reisner, or Petri, or they're using Birches or Bremstead. They're the only ones that really teaching any type of medunetta that has any kind of rating on it. But then the European, the racist European, so they use the word Keb and Geb instead of Seb because it's a resonance, it's a sound. The sound is a vibration. The vibration is a frequency. The frequency allows you to command these cosmic forces. So you have to pronounce the earth by its proper name of Seb. How do I know that Seb is the proper way? I could be blowing smoke up with you, right? How does Ptah say it's Seb? Because if you take the Medunetta, you should be able to turn it around backwards. And Seb means solid. And if you turn it around backwards, it means best. And best means fire. And we know that in the center of the earth is a great molten ball, a molten core of fire inside of the earth that's allowing it to rotate. So this is how we know it's true. It has to be applicated generically, or else I'm just as worse as the ones who are already conditioned. Now, Ost, the next day, now we're on Earth because the third day of the week is Seb. Who's here? Yes. Yeah, show's on. Yes, it is. Tune in. The next day, that's 3 days. The next day, the fourth day is Ost because you're on Earth, came from the sun, moved to the moon. Now you're on the Earth. Remember, you're moving from a trajectory, a perspective of celestial environments. So now we're on the Earth. Now, when you're on the Earth, it's the third day. Now, to get the fourth day, how do you figure it out? You look to the left and you look to the right. What are you going to see? You see nature. We call that Mother Nature. Mother Nature. So we call this day Ast. Our great divine mother goddess Ast Ermut Panatru Panebu, we perform the Hesi to. That's her day. Fourth day of the week belongs to Ast. The next 4 days belongs to the Shemsu Heru because I'm from the sun, moved to the moon, came to the earth, we looked around, we seen first day of Ra, right? And we seen nature. We call Mother Nature. Mother Nature, not Mother Nature, because nature is just a corrupted word from the Netaru, from the Medunetta. She's Mother, she's Mut Neteru. Mut Neteru is Mother Nature and Medunetta. And so now you're on the earth. You're within Mut Neteru, Mother Nature, and so now you have to calibrate yourself to the cardinal points to align yourself to the celestial axis, east, north, west, and south. And so we bring about the 4 children of Heru, Mesta, Hapi, Twamutif, and Quebsina. And then the last day, of course, goes to their father Heru, who gave birth to the Heru. So that's how I name the 9 days of the week. And to give it a generic, functional, cosmic purpose so that it will last for another 26,000 years. So when that great golden age comes around again, we will know and preserve ourselves through that Lion's Gate opening of Uncle Set again, as it came through again, as it just passed and put us into slavery. We have to preserve these teachings itself and its interpretation so that the next generations will be able to overcome the destruction that will be inflicted upon us and to be successful to carry on to the new cycle. Now, since we got to the days of the month and days of the years, days of the weeks and the months of the year, now let's talk about time. What is time? We're going to get into the schematics that Queen Mother Goddess wants us to get into. She wants me to break down each and every side of the months of the year, which we're going to do. The 6th day is Hapi. Yes, the day of Hapi. Hapi is the second born from the womb of Heru and was begotten by Heru. Okay? So now we move. So we say time. Remember, the question you got to ask yourself, scientifically, mathematically, with your cultural, cosmic, spirituality is, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? All the known and unknown forces of the universe are of one origin. Necessity becomes the order by which these forces reveal themselves. Existence demands that energy be spent. Existence is realized by the expansion of energy that must have a source. In the case of our universe, Ankh, life, being is always associated to heat and movement. But the energy that drives the entire universe is of the direct result of the self-creation of Ra, Nebuchadnezzar radiation, which produces the phenomenon of attraction and repulsion, along with the anomalies of heat and movement. The first law of existence, you might want to write this down. The first law of existence is that energy must be spent. Let me reiterate. The first law of existence is that energy must be spent. The first law of energy is to always exist and expand. And this will lead us into the Sba-t, but first I want to break down. Want to stay terrestrial today. I don't want to take y'all cosmic today. We're going to balance it all. So now we're going to balance this down to time. Everybody understand time? Time is the movement or measurement of the light through the void of deep, dark, cold space from one point or distance to another. Its speed is 198,000 miles per second. Light is the absence of darkness, and darkness is the absence of light. Light is the giver of Ankh, life, being to all things upon the terrestrial plane within the atomic domain. Ankh, life, is the consciousness and awareness of being. Ankh, life, is the generic expression of the light that is only found in three forms: solids, liquids, and gases. Matter exclusively. Solids, liquids, and gases. Matter, the elements. Nature, the netarus, the gods and goddesses. However, my Naga, light is not the origin of existence or the creation and development of the universe. Light is not the Zep-Tepi. The Zep-Tepi, Zep in Meduneta means first, Tep means time. Zep-Tepi is known as the first time. Light is not the Zep-Tepi. The memoirs also they are making sure people are on time. Dua, para tapo pamara, was the Jero Pujasanev. So light has a mirrored reflection, and that mirrored reflection is radiation. So if the light is a hydrogen atom, scientifically speaking, you got to break this down scientifically, you got to break it down mathematically, then you break it into our culture, cosmology, spirituality, but astrology and astronomy have absolute accountability and style validation at all times. If not, I'm a violator, and I'm not here to violate you. I'm here to give you back your divine birthright. I'm only here to help you remember. You already know everything I just told you. You already know. You already knew. You just didn't remember. Remember. Let's remember. Don't remember. So here we go. The light is a hydrogen atom. Scientifically, has a proton, neutron, nucleus, has an electron. And when the electron moves into the center, the atom attracts. And when the electron moves away from the center, the atom expels. Attraction and repulsion. Okay? So now these are the laws of universal dualism now. We're going into the esoterical properties of comprehension and enlightenment of our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. The light shines its light on anything. If it shines its light on you, it's going to cast a shadow. If it shines its light on anything, if this bottle gets in the way of the light, there's going to be a shadow. So you have to ask yourself, these are the cosmic forces talking to you. So you got to ask yourself, what is that shadow? Why did it get dark? Right? Why did the house block out the sun and create a shadow? But I bet you if you go back in the sun and the sun's up to 108 degrees, I bet you little monkey butt will jump in that shadow and get cold, get some shade. Right? I bet you're going to go in that shadow to get some shade. But still, contemplate. Try to recognize what the natures are talking to you. So if one is atomic energy, and it radiates its light upon anything and creates a shadow, the shadow has to be subatomic. So now you're beginning to see with your inner eye, hear with your inner ear, and to function and perturbate with Maat in your heart. Which brings us to, okay, well, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, I'm already over time. Okay, Queen Mother, I guess we can go right into the. I'd like to take a quick break before we go into the months of the year, breaking down each one of the months for all those who have bought a calendar. We're going to break down the months of the year. We didn't get to that. I talked my way right up to the last minute last week. She said, Ptah, could you please save time? Yes, Queen Mother, I am listening to you. You are the facilitator. We come from the womb of the great mother. We shall return to the great mother Nut. We transition. So I bow down to you, my great Queen Mother Goddess, AstMaatTfNut. And we shall take a moment for the pause for the cause to make sure everybody who's just tuning in has got their Ipeteru, Shabit Tempua, Haru, Maat, Ancient Rasaurian Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar, and the Meteorological Star Timeline. This is sponsored by the Naga Ship Association and the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. We are here today with our great divine Queen Mother Goddess, AstMaatTfNut, and she is an official distributor of the Ancient Rasaurian Calendar Solar Serial Lunar Calendar. If you want to buy your calendar, order it today. Do not let your children suffer any further. Take down that Gregorian calendar from your wall. Before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week. So if you're on a 7-day calendar, then you are part of the problem. Stop being a part of the problem. It's okay if you want to be part of the problem, but don't let your children go up that way. Give your children a chance. And when you get your calendar, don't put it all the way up on the ceiling. Put it on the wall next to you. Put it so when the child, however tall your child is, put it so they can see it. They walk by. Let them put it at an angle where they can see it. So order your calendar today. The descriptions below at the Queen Mother Goddess AstMaatTfNut has right there. Make sure you order your calendar today. If you want to donate, those of you that have calendars and would like to donate to the Queen Mother's platform, her link is right there. Her Square Cash, her Cash App is right there. She has me on the show every week, sometimes twice a week. We're here. I'm here. Free. I do not want to die. Don't send me a penny. I cannot charge you for your own information. I am a military Sba, a military Hemtepe. I am a military Shemsaru. I'm here to bring about the armies whose time has come. We have just entered the great golden age of Maat Asar. So we're going to have to understand, I am here for you. I work for you. I ain't been to the plantation in 45 years. I would know what a plantation looked like. I spent all my life designing this calendar, this Ipeteru, Meduneta. Ipet means to measure. Heru means day, measure of the day. We call it in my temple of the Tesha Pura, we call it an Ipeteru. We call it a Ipeteru and also a Shabit. M3 Heru Pamaat. Shabit means the shadow. M3, the shadow of the star in the sun. In accordance to the doctrines of Maat, is what Shabit M3 Heru Pamaat translates to in Meduneta. And this way, you have to applicate the function of the sun from atomic energy to subatomic, and which brings you into the concept of self-creation. Because we're here to allow you the ability to acquire this ability to experience the phenomenon of being. And to acquire this phenomenon of being, first you must release yourself. Then you must seek out yourself. Overcome the sensation of weightlessness. Embrace Maat within yourself, then you will desire to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. I'm at your service, Queen Mother Goddess. You could facilitate the next segment of the show, and I'll follow your lead.
Dua, Usiba, Ptah, Secret, Okay, so before we proceed, I want to mention this calendar is the Crumb TV edition. So all of you who are here, you're familiar with Crumb TV. This is the Crumb TV edition of the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar. Also, I want to say dua woo to my humble brother, Tasmaniac Wolf, for asking us to come on and share this content on his platform, the Taz Show. Again, we are streaming live on the Taz Show on Facebook, as well as the Taz Show on YouTube and 6 of my platforms. So again, as Carleigh Livingston mentioned in the comments, yes, we are making sure that everyone is aware of the calendar and the precious treasure, immortality. And so now we are going to, and Carleigh Livingston says, thank you, Taz. And also, Carleigh, we did receive your donation. We received your monies also for your calendar. So we'll get that out to you ASAP. Also to everyone else who has donated, dua woo to you all. And to those of you who are here who have donated before and we received it after, I speak dua to you as well. And again, I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the participation and all of the value that you add to the segment today. So now we are going to go in the calendar and we've already covered the days. So the days are, there's day 1 here and it goes through the day 9. So you all know. And so each month has the image here on the top and the day, the month of the first month is Jehuti, and you'll see the name of each month here on the side. We are going to cover the months now, and it's color coded. So we're going to discuss the color code, which involves this graphic here. So we'll go over that as well. And Sba, if you would, before we go into the calendar, remind everyone about this first day when they open their calendar. They'll see it is July 25th. It will not be January the 1st. So see down here, July 25th is the first day. This is the new year, the Renpet. Sba, if you would discuss that before we proceed.
Yes, exactly. All of you who think, what I need a calendar for, the year don't start to December 31st. That's Gregorian timeline. That's Hellenistic paradigm. That's enslavement. You've enslaved yourself. The star rose upon the Giza Plateau, or the Nilotic Meridian, which is 29 point longitude and 29 point latitude, which we call 30-30. 30 longitude and 30 latitude. The sun rises in front of the Giza, in front of Helical, or the Sphinx, as most people know them as. And then it rises on that Nilotic Meridian all the way down to Medaway, Napata, Kerma, in the Sudan. And on the west of the Sudan is Nabta Playa. This picture here is all the way down to the south. That's on the tip of Africa. And Cape down in South Africa, that's called Adam's calendar. Of course, it's not Adam's calendar. This some white boy who just bumped into it. His name was Adam, so it became his calendar. But this is the oldest known ancient megalithic architectural spherical calendar on the planet Earth, or called Seb. And this is called, in South Africa, it's called Adam's calendar. And as you see there's another picture. You will see the 3 stones, and the 3 stones. There it is right there. Boom, okay. The 3 stones with the horse figure on the front. And when they run the computer backwards through astrology on your computer with them hard drives and softwares they have, The next time that the three stars of Orion's belt falls upon the top of these three stars is 250,000 years ago. So that means 250. There it is, right there. In the foreground, you see them three stars, them three megalithic stones sticking out. Behind on the left hand side is a face of the stone of Horus. It's called the Horus Stone. And this is on the edge of a cliff that's 500 feet tall. Okay, and it's in South Africa. And when this constellation appeared like that, was 250,000 years ago. Of course, when you look at it today, they said it's 200,000 years ago. Now we recently looked at it, they said it was 150,000. Now they even changed it down to 600,000 because they don't want you to know that your cultural conduct, collective conscious spirituality is traced back through ancient architectural megalithic monuments that we knew how to tell time 250,000 million years ago. 250,000 years ago. Now, with the Horus Stone in front of it, implicates that our cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality was in full bloom 250,000 years ago, which means that Heru is the Horus Stone is Heru. That means Heru has 4 children, and Heru came from Asar and Asar, Ast and Asar, who came from Seb and Nut, who came from Shu and Tepnu, who came from the direct issue of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, which you go back to other episodes, we discussed that. We'll go into it next week, but this week I'm just trying to show you how our ancestors wrote everything in the stars. It is star coded, it's star dated. Similarly, in the temple of Luxor in Karnak, they have in the temple of Amen-Ra in Luxor, they have an avenue of sphinxes that are orientated to the spring equinox of the constellation that you know as Aries in Hellenistic or European astrology. And Aries, we know Amen, because they constructed the temple to Amen. And when the sun came into that avenue of sphinxes and the constellation of Aries entered into that avenue of sphinxes, Amen became Amen-Ra. So this is the root of Amen-Ra. So to let you, that's not the plier right there. And this is a reflection of showing you the Sphinx mirror and looking at itself in the sky 12,000 years ago. But I just want everybody to understand how to applicate this astrological and astronomical configurations and data scientifically, mathematically, and then you have to applicate it with your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. Because if you don't add it to your spirituality, then you're just another Greek and another Roman. You're just another well-dressed thug. You're just another hotep pimp, another hustler on the street trying to make $1 on a black person's brain. Okay? We're here to help you remember your divine birth drive, immortality. Because everything I'm telling you, you can look and see that it's real and it's true, and you don't need me. I'm just here to help you remember. That's all. I'm just an servant. My duty on this planet is to help you remember and to create 200 million Nagas, Shemsuru, Nesipitis, and Metsibasibats, the immortal ones in Maat cherish, to regain this new age order that we just came into. We're 10 years into it. We're 10 years into the new age order of Maat Asar. Show them the back piece again, Green Mother, the big giant. Let's just work them through the phenomenon of precession first before we get down to the months. Let me give them time. Let me give them appropriate time, appropriate cosmic time, so that you can understand that the Earth has 3 motions. The Earth rotates on its axis. They teach you this in school. They teach you the 3 motions, but that's all they tell you. They don't tell you about here's the rotation of the Earth. The Earth rotates 24 hours and 35 minutes. That line in the middle is called the vertical line. That's vertical. And the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes the Earth wobble. One complete wobble is 26,000 years, and they call this the phenomenon of precession or the precession of equinox. They don't even do it. After that, they don't tell you nothing more. Oh, the sun rose nice today. They go back to Tom and Dick and Harry and Jump and Jack and Jill up there. Here we go. Here's the first motion of the Earth. The Earth rotates on its axis. Everybody knows it rotates 24 hours in a day. But the original calendar of man or humankind rotated. Its first motion of Earth was 24 hours and 35 minutes. There was an extra 35 minutes in every day, 17 and a half to 17 and a half minutes that was split between the duat and the twat, which is sunrise and sunset, or dawn or dusk. Our ancestors equated every second of light that appeared upon this earth. And so on a 24-hour, 35-minute cycle, that means on the second motion of the earth, it's on 24 hours and 35 minutes, the earth rotates around the sun. That's only 360 days. And of course, the earth is tilted on its axis, which is making it rotate, is making it wobble like that. It wobbles. One complete wobble, one complete wobble is 26,000 years. This is called the phenomenon of precession. Does everybody understand that, please? Let's get to the phenomenon of precession, because once we get to the phenomenon of precession, they have to include our story. That's why they didn't teach you in school, because they're teaching you history. They're trying to brainwash and condition you into understanding his story or history, which is his story. We don't want to know about his story. We want to know about our story. And our story is of the stars. Our story is cosmic. And here we go here. So now the earth rotates. Now there's 360 days in a year if it's 24 hours and 35 minutes. But that's a perfect calendar. There's only one problem. There's only 6 forms of life on the planet. Everybody got this? 6 forms of life. There's not 7. Under 24 hours, write this down. Under 24 hours and 35 minutes, there are only 6 forms of life on the planet. Them forms are plants, insects, reptiles, water creatures, birds that fly, animals. The 7th form of life does not exist because time has already been allotted for. The time of day and the time for night is already sealed. Enter calendar number 2. Because Seb and Nut wanted to have children. Seb is the earth, Nut is the sky. The only thing that separates the sky from the earth is light. This is how most earliest ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors perceive things within our cultural, cosmic, culture, spirituality. Because at night, if you go outside, like right now it's dark outside, so if I go outside, I'm not going to see the sky. I'm going to see stars. Oh, the stars. Oh, wait. Look at that. That's a constellation. There's stars out there. But in the morning, as the sun rises, the stars disappear. Why? Because the sky is lifted off the earth. And the only thing that separates the sun from the earth is, the sky from the earth, but the only thing that separates Nut from Seb is daylight. And when daylight comes up, when the sun's rising, Nut comes up, and now you see a blue sky. And when the sun sets, you see the stars again. You have to look at what the ancestors are showing you through the daily existence of ponderable matter. Ponderable. You have to ponder on this. You have to relate to this, reflect upon this, focus your energy, your vibrations, and your frequencies upon this. But you're so busy putting that food in you that you're not even sun rose, the sky set. You ain't putting no money in my pocket. You think I care about the sunrise or the moon set? If there's a full moon or a what do I care? This is where your brain's at now. You've been Hellenized and lobotomized when all these forces are working for you, waiting for you to recognize. And so let's just move on with this so everybody can get this. Okay? So now the only thing that separates the sky, Nut, from the earth, Seb, is light. And so now light, the sky and the earth are coming down, and then it goes up the next day and it comes down. This is what we call the earth and the sky are making love. This is a generic expression through spiritual symbolism. The earth and the sun every day. These are days. 9 of these is a week. 36 of these is a month. 360 of these, and they're making love. You know the way you make love. You know how to make love. Don't act like you know how to make love. And here goes Newton. There's Newton set right there. Okay? Now, for anybody with a trained eye who knew Egypt, who knew the study of our ancestors through the Medunetta, would know if you saw a picture like that, then that means the calendar is 300. Now, okay, slow down, Queen Mother, slow down. Okay, let them get this. Okay, when you do not see anybody separating Newt and Seth, that means the days are 24 hours long because the 5 children have been born. Newt and Seth have 5 children. Their names are Haru, Asar, Sut, Ast, and Nebhet. Show them the next picture, Queen Mother. The one with the separation of Shu and Tefnut. Right there. Okay. Why is there somebody separating the earth from the sky? Because the calendar now is 24 hours and 35 minutes, and each year is 360 days, not 365 days. Because the mother equation, remember, we got to have our mathematics. Without mathematics, it doesn't make sense. So the mathematics is sidereal year, whatever you want to call it, tomatoes. If you Google sidereal year, it'll say specifically. There's another picture of the separation. There's the photograph with the ostrich plume on his kneecap, representing Shu. That Shu separating Newt and Seth. So now, a sidereal year. Leave it right there, Queen Mother. A sidereal year means 8,760 hours. It takes a star something to break the plane, to traverse the elliptic plane, and return to its original position with respect to the fixed stars is 8,766 hours. That's called a sidereal year. Okay? Now, everybody understands that. This is a sidereal year. This is solar and sidereal and lunar because we have our main mother mathematical equation, which is 8,766 years. Now, this balances out to 10 months, 4 weeks, 9 days, totaling 360, or 10 months, 4 weeks, and 9 days, totaling 360, 65 and a quarter days. The only difference is the movement of the earth. Scientifically, now let's go back to our science. The earth is rotating on its axis. Each daily cycle is 24 hours and 35 minutes. So that means somebody is separating Newt from Seth. But when there's only 7 Newt, that means the days are 24 hours long, meaning the years are 365 and a quarter days. So this is how we mix our cultural spirituality with the science and the mathematics, with the astrology and astronomy to have absolute accountability and star validation, so that you would see and know with the trained eye. Then you would know what age we're in. You actually can comprehend and deduce what age we're in as we move through the 26,000-year cycle, the great golden age of Maat, the great golden phenomenal precession. I'm sorry, Queen Mother. I know you want to get to them 10 months, but I gotta move them in there. I got to show them what they're looking at so they don't get lost.
You mentioned the 5 children. Can we cover them right quick?
Yes. That's the second one. Go to the first one. The first one there's the first one right there. Can you enlarge that a little? Okay. So now Newton said wanted to have children, but Rouse said time has already been allotted for. There's nothing I can do. So Seb shooting blanks. So here goes Jehuti. Enter in Jehuti. Seb petitioned Jehuti for an allotment of time so that his mate Newt could give birth to the Perpetual. But Rouse said there's nothing he could do because time has already been allotted for. So Jehuti devised, because Jehuti is the Lord of sacred mathematics and sacred words, divine powers. And so Jehuti deduced that because Ra needed somebody to name all the forms of life which he'd allowed to evolve. So there's words to that meaning. You see, because he begins to grow old for the billions of years of existence. So Ra and Jehuti wagered. And Jehuti said, Ra said, if you lose Jehuti, you're going to have to name each and every form of life that I made to evolve upon this planet. And because Ra was beginning to grow old from the billions and billions of years of existence, he found this task too tedious. So Jehuti said, well, if I win, I want the 35 minutes that's left over after every day. So Ra said, okay. So in a wager that is known only to the great company of the gods and goddesses, Lord Jehuti was the victor. He claimed this prize. The 35 minutes of time he gained control of, leaving an exact cycle of 24 hours, 10 months, 4 weeks, 9 days, totaling 360. The 35 minutes when multiplied by 360 totaled 5 and a quarter days. added on to a year that still had 8,766 hours. I just want to make sure we had that mathematical equation on film and recorded, so in case some of the flipperheads who think they grew a brain in academia want to challenge this. Let's just move right along now, Queen Mother. Remember, I'm not here to babysit you. I'm not here to entertain you, and I'm not here to give you, and not here to take your temperature. I'm here to help you remember your divine birthright of immortality. Catherine Williams, leap year. There is no need of leap year. Leap year is a European conception, but it's during this time, this is where they compensated. And then with the moon, every 130 years, 100 day is added. Then it came down to after they manipulated the calendar reform, then every 4 years they had to adopt because now there's an extra 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds, Catherine Williams. Let me answer your question, leap year. There's a 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds left over after every year. So what the Europeans did, or Pope Gregory did, and what Augustus did, and what Caesar did, was they waited 4 years and you add 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds, or say 6 hours. 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours is 24 hours. That's a day. So in February, in the month of February, in the Gregorian calendar, they throw in another day, which gives February 29 days. And it's all about manipulating the mathematics so that you never see it. This is how they pull the wool over your eyes. In our Ipiteru Shabitem Tuaru Maat, we incorporate the 360-day, 24 hours and 35 minutes. Then Jehudi wagered with Ra. He won the wager. He gained control of 35 minutes. He multiplied it 360 times with 5 1/4 days, in which the earth netches were born. Their names are, yes, Siva, Dua. Their names are Heruer, Asar, Sut, Ast, and Nebhet. Now, there's 365 days in a year, but really there's still only 360 days in a year. What we do is on July the 20th on the Gregorian calendar indicates on our calendar that our Earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. And for the next 5 days, what we do is we don't count these days. We honor and celebrate these days through our cultural, cosmic, country spirituality. We celebrate the birthday of Heruer on the first day. These are the first ancestors. You're paying your tribute and honor to the first ancestors, and their names are Heruer. On the next day is the 21st, is the 20th. The 21st day is the birthday of Asar, or Asar Unefaketiamenti, in which this is all part of the Ren Pet. Okay, everybody? This is during the Ren Pet. This is why we don't need no leap year. This is how our ancestors, our Nubian ancestors, with their geniusness, understood it. We celebrated these times by festival, by celebration, by fasting, by meditation, and by observance. Somebody had to be out there watching the stars, watching the sky. And so on the third day, which is the 22nd, we celebrate the birthday of Sut, or Uncle Set. On that day, I light a candle because he's in the family. There's nothing you can do. You know, you got that rotten old uncle. If that's a pedophile, feverfire, or bringing the drugs in, or whatever he does, you know, you got that rotten uncle. That's that Uncle Set. But he's still in the family, so you got to recognize it. There's nothing you can do, okay? He's a mathematical equation. You know, the next day is the 23rd, is the day of Ast. AstMaatTfNut, all tributes, all praises, all honor, all beneficials, all the benefits of cakes and ales and so on and so forth are laid upon the altar. And then on the 24th day is the birthday of Nebhet. And after her birthday, when the sky gets dark on the next morning, the star rises with the sun, which is called the Helical rising. We know it in Meduneta as the red pet. Show them the symbol for the red pet, please, Queen Mother Goddess AstMaatTfNut. And on this day is a mathematical indication that is the oldest symbol known of the red pet. Okay, it has the cows, and that is how it's written in Meduneta. You see the star, above the star, you see the primordial mound. Of course, in Gardener's Sinus, you would know that as a raised loaf How it's a raised loaf, how a European can come up with a raised loaf is beyond me. But in the European minds, that means a raised loaf, and they don't have an idea what that is. They think that that is a tekken or an obelisk, or is an elongated ben or an apex. What that really is telluric forces. That is a spike of energy. That is a spike of frequency which permeates from the earth and shoots right up to the sky, through the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the ionosphere. And this is pure energy. And it connects to the gravity. The T, the letter T, alphabetical T in Medunetta that you saw that they calling God and assigned this the raised loaf is gravity. And of course, that below in the bottom right register is a star. So you have to combine all three of these symbols. Of course, you knew Medunetta, you would know there's unilateral, bilateral, there's trilateral, and there's determinative. Then you have to be able to break it down alphabetical and phonetically. Okay, there's a lot that goes on in here. But most important of all, you have to relate it to your culture, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality. You can't see things the way some European sees it. So you have to understand how to relate it in your own cultural spirituality, because we have no religion. You can't relate this to God. We don't believe in God. We have nothing to do with God. Matter of fact, God is Uncle Set. We have a cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality. Let's get back to understanding this final part of that symbol for something is a spike. And you would see that spike for you scholars. Google the Royal Burial Chamber of Settlement, the Royal Burial Chamber of Settlement, or the Egyptian calendar in the Temple of Settlement. Okay? And you'll see that big giant spike pointing right to Orion with the horns of the apex of the bull, which was showing that that was the great golden age of, of Taurus, or in Medunetta, Ptah. Okay? So now, so now, so now we're relating the mathematical equation. We know that during this time of the 5 days that the earth netters were born, she showed you the 5 earth netters, and this indicates that there was no need of leap year. Leap year is a European concept used to manipulate the mathematical equation to keep you sleeping. Leap year is used to keep you sleeping. So imagine if you will, if you was born on February 29th. Imagine your dilemma. Imagine your dilemma if you was born on February 29th. That means you only have a birthday every 4 years, which is crazy. It's got to be ludicrous. It's got to be madness to you to even think that you got to tell your child that the next year, oh, you don't get a birthday this year. You don't get a birthday this year. And you admit, no, next year is your birthday. Can you imagine explaining this to your child? How much trauma you're creating? And he's getting no type of therapy. She's getting no therapy. You know, white children get therapy. They get therapy when they blow the nose, they blow a boogie on the nuts, they blow a boogie on the shoe. They take them right to the clinic. Oh, tell them, doctor. They get treatment. We don't get treatment. They keep violating us every day with everything, and you get no type of treatment for this violation. So, anyways, we know that February is 28 days because Julius Caesar, he at the beginning of the calendar reforms and everything we talked about, Julius Caesar took a month. There's 30 days in a month in the Gregorian calendar. How do you know there's 30 days in a month? You got to sing the nursery rhyme. 30 days, half September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. It's February, it has 28 and 29 on leap year. You know, that's the only way that you can tell they got to sing the nursery rhyme. That's because it's perpetual. Their calendar is perpetual, meaning that if, hypothetically speaking, if January the 1st is on a Monday, January the 1st, 2020 is on a Monday, hypothetically speaking. January 1st on a 2021 is on a Tuesday. 2022 is on a Wednesday. 2023 is on a Thursday. And then 2024 is on a Saturday because they got a leap year, so it jumps a year. Do you understand this, family? This means that the star that was in the sky on your birthday, the next time it comes around in 4 years, it's not there in the sky. This obviously indicates that it's not your birthday. So they stole your birthday at your birth by design, on purpose, so that you would never know. That's why when they told you the earth rotates, first motion, then it revolves, second motion, then the third motion of the earth is took to 23.5 degrees for vertical, which makes it wobble, and that's a 26,000-year cycle. They didn't change it. That was the precession of equinox. Right there, they stopped it, closed the class down, time to learn arithmetic. You know, learn, because if they told you about the phenomenon of precession or the precession of equinox, they would have to tell you about your story or our story. And they don't want that. Once you hear our story, you're going to remember. They don't want you to remember. They want to keep you sleeping. Right? All you do is sleep. They put you to sleep, and then they feed you that food to put you to sleep. We're going to get to that soon, Queen Mother. I'm just trying to break it. She said, I'm long-winded. I still ain't got to the point yet. But I had to explain that 360 degree orbit with the New Year's, the Renpet, and of course, somebody mentioned the Apagamore days. And I just want to make sure that there's clarity. We have to have transparency so that you can remember. Because everything I just told you, you already knew. Everybody already knew. You just didn't remember. That's why I don't charge you anything for these classes. I'm only here to help you remember. But I do expect you all to take some of that reaper money. I know you're sitting back there smoking that blunt. I know you're getting woo. There's some good blunt that you spend some of that money on buying a calendar from the great Queen Mother, AstMaatTfNut. She is an official global distributor of the Ancient Rasaurian Calendar Solar Civil Lunar Calendar and the Meteorological Star Timeline. And this way your children can see. In case you get spaced out smoking that blunt all day, let the children see. Give your children. Because in our cultural cosmic collective spirituality, in Medunetta, Sba means teacher. Right. You must understand, overstand, and understand exactly Sba. Dua. In Medunetta, the word Sba means teacher, but it also means student, because the student becomes the teacher. The son becomes stronger than the mother, then the father and the mother, and the daughter becomes stronger than the father and the mother. Okay? We know this because in our cultural spirituality and dealing with the Zep-Tepi, which is the first time or the origins of existence, the creation, development of the universe, we know that Ra Nebuchadnezzar became stronger than the father because in the beginning there was only the all of all. That's where everything is, was, and shall be is contained. And that is known as, and within this all of all, where energy is collected, absorbed, and then stored, must be released. This energy existed as energy, thought, feeling, and non-motion. And what the Creator's Son did, the Creator's Father is new or noon, which is the primary ocean of nothingness. You might know as dark energy or oblivion or cosmological constant. But what the Creator did, the Creator became stronger than the Father because he went from energy, thought, feeling, and non-motion to energy, thought, feeling, and motion. We don't want to go cosmic on that level, but I want to just bring that harmonious, synonymous relationship between the child and the mother, and the son and the father, and the student and the teacher, so that things begin to make sense. To end F, oh yes, and then when you see in the letter, the letter T, or the symbol for T, which is the mound, the primordial mound, or you might know as the raised loaf of bread and God in the sign list, that represents or synonymous to feminine or the feminine energy, the feminine aspect. And when you see the F or the horn viper or the snail-like symbol, then you would know that that's masculine. And for those of you who are studying Medunetta, and I do advise everybody to some point to learn to read, write, speak, teach, and then learn how to translate Medunetta. Because there's a lot of people that read, write, speak Medunetta, but they learn from Chet Pallion, they learn from Gardner Scientist, they learn from Budge, they learn from Petrie, they learn from Reisner, Reaches, Birches, Bremstead, so on and so forth. But learn how to interpret this from an African perspective. Go ahead, Queen Mother, you can flash it. You asked me to do something, I just went through another half hour, I didn't even do it.
All right. I just want you to know, Siba Ramutef has joined us. He left out, but he's back now. Siba
Oh, put
Ramutef,
him on. Put Ramutef, please, please.
On the
put
screen.
him on. Put him on the air, please.
He's here. I'm waiting on him to unmute his mic.
That's right. Let me know when he does it. This is Ramutef Queb. He is my eldest student in Tesha Para. He is a representative of the Naga Ship Association in the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. And it is his duty, his sworn duty, to return the star of your birth and of your transition back to you. So you can get in touch with him. He's going to break it down right now. Dua dua usiba panata pamaharon ko se jeron kuja seneb umena fikir panaburu mati. Dua dua.
Panataba Pama Unkwasi Jedon Kujasanev Ubenefi Ke Panabu Haru Maati to you all and listening audience. I'm very thankful for being on the platform today. Basically, what the Sba-t was speaking on is that every single one of us have a star that was present on the day of our birth. And we say this multiple times that following this Gregorian calendar, meaning that within 7 years, the star that was presented on the day of your birth is no longer in the sky. So what I do is I calibrate you back in tunement with the cosmos, with star validations and absolute accountability. And I'll end on that note for right now.
So what he's saying, everybody, is that he performs the star chart. He is the Umwet, the Umwap. So you have to remember that. Remember that every 130 years on the lunar cycle calendar, one unearned day is added to the calendar. So this disturbs the movement of the stars in the sky during the life cycles. And then because of the leap year and because of the Gregorian calendar's lunar cycle aspect, that the star dissipates from out of the sky. It doesn't dissipate, it just moves on. It's moving along. You got stuck because you don't use a solar, sidereal, and a lunar cycle calendar. So I got his Ramutef Web. He's working. He's at the plantation driving from state to state. I know he must be very tired today because he usually fills up about an hour and a half of airspace. But I'm gonna bring him right back into it for you. What he does is he performs a natal chart, a birth chart for you. And he finds out what year you're born, what month you're born, and where you are positioned on the planet Earth. And then he can roll back the computer with his digital graphics, and he can establish what star was in the sky at your birth. He can return your birth star back to you, and also the planets that were present at that time and the constellations. So you can get a true reading, a true writing, a writing of your divine birthright. And so this is very important. Everybody wants to know the name of the star of their birth. And of course, there's a star of your transition, which some people call death. But there is no death in our culture of cosmic collective conscious spirituality. The end of one thing is always the beginning of another. Life is eternal. It's an eternal cycle. And what's so important about Ramutef's work is that it has not been done before, because no one knew how to perform with the geodite. You have to have a point of origin. And to have a point of origin, you have to understand it mathematically, scientifically, with your cultural, cosmic, spirituality, which we just did. And we understand that the substance rises with Ra indicates that our Earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. And then we have the mathematical equation. So now everybody has to remember, reason why Subtit is so important is because Ra and Subtit are binary stars. They do a dance. They do a dance together. And this dance, when it's at its closest, it's 1,461 years. This is called a true helical rising. A true helical rising is when you look at the rising and the star and the sun breaks the plane together. That's a helical rising. A true helical rising, but it only happens every 1,461 years. And as Ra and Subtit makes its annual orbit away from each other, when it gets to the middle point there, that's 1,461 years. Then they come together. Boom, 1,461 years. Right? This is how our star Subtit and our sun, the star Ra, does their binary dance. And of course, Subtit as I, A, and B, as another satellite moving around it, which also adds to the gravitational pull of the Earth, which makes the Earth tilt 23.5 degrees and makes it wobble. And so once you have to be able to applicate scientific and mathematical contribution, then you have to apply it through its movement through the 26,000-year orbit through each of the 12 signs. Each sign is 12. Each sign is 2,160 years for a great age. Would you like to come in now, Ron, with that? Finish this off?
Sure. Yes, Seba. So
Go ahead.
so what I do is, as the Seba was explaining as well, is that I connect you back into that tapestry of the procession, along with the solar, the sidereal, and the lunar aspects. When you start to realize the number that I give you as far as your star date goes, it's basically a personalized um, time chart for yourself that's according to our calendar, which is everyone's calendar. But you'll have your little spot, not even a little, but it's a major spot because you have all those planetary energies within it to the degree where if you wanted to, every year of your birthright, you'll be able to see any and all planets that line up on that day. So, say for instance, you'll think you'll have like good days and bad days in a sense. Well, now you have the cosmic power or the how you say the command the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, protection. Now that you can recognize it, just little simple information as the day of your birth, the time of your birth, the place of your birth, and then just knowing that we don't go by Aries or Leo or Virgo or Aquarius. We have the names that were given to us that were given by our ancestors. Say, for instance, like with Set, we just left the age of Uncle Set. Now we're in my IPSR, what you would know as Pisces and Aquarius. So when you take those Hellenistic terms out your mouth, out your program, out your mind, out your thoughts, you'll start to rock connect back to the universe by using that sound, that frequency of the word as the creator did when the creator came into being. So if you, and then also you can find me on Ramatef Collab on Facebook, Ramatef_Collab on Instagram. You can find me in the Nagatian Association and the Nagatian Institutes as well. And I just want to end off on this note that peace and love to all, and continue, Siba.
Dua para tayo puja sa nebo na pikir para ko you my great elder Seba, Ramutep Queb. So we're going to have to continue again next week, Queen Mother, with the months of the day, the months of the year. Because I see we ran over again, and I just I have no conception of regular time. You know, I have no conception of regular time. And what time do we have now? Yes, we've run over 15 minutes. But anyways, to understand, for those of you who don't understand the precession of equinox, as the Earth tilts on its axis 23.5 degrees, the Earth wobbles. And one complete wobble is 26,000 years. So they got us packaged into this square box of 5,000 years. That history with our story is only 5,000 years old, which is ludicrous. I mean, just you people think that you can believe this without understanding that he has violated you is beyond my comprehension. But I can understand it because you're eating that food and you're not on the proper frequency. But anyways, the sun precesses. Time moves clockwise. The zodiac moves counterclockwise. It precesses. It precesses. That's why it's called the precession of equinox, or the phenomenon of precession. So it takes 72 years for the sun to precess 1 degree through the great age that we are now in, of Maat, that you may know as Aquarius. It takes 72 years to precess 1 degree. Now, this shows you the genius of our Nubian ancestors to have a cultural spirituality commission of a group of people who would stay on the mountain for 72 years to watch this movement in the great procession of 1 degree. And each great age is 2,161 years. So we had to have a trained institution of astrologers known as Umwetwet, the great star watchers, or the watchers of the first hour in Meduneta. And to culminate at 2,161 years, and they knew that this time had come because on the spring equinox on the Gregorian calendar, which we will override the Gregorian calendar and say on the spring equinox, when day and night are of equal length, is spring. The spring equinox and the autumnal equinox means day and night are equal. And on this day, you look to the east at the rising of the sun, just an hour before the sun rises, and you look 23.5 degrees from horizontal, and whatever constellation is in the sky is where you're located on the galactic elliptic plane of our quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy, or simply where you're located within the zodiac, or what sign you're located in or positioned in. So that's how you could tell cosmic time through the naked eye. And so our ancestors measured this for 2,161 years. How many families of people, a family of ancestors, had to watch this? And then the next change of gods to the next great golden age, and they watched it for 2,161 years, and 2 times 12 is 24, and 100 is 25. It comes up to 26,000 years. So now we're in the age, we're in the age of Maat, which is Aquarius. We're 10 years in. And so 10 years ago, we count 2,161 years backwards to the age of Pisces, then which is Uncle Set. Then we count 2,161 years backwards to the age of Amen, which is Aries. Then we count back 2,161 years into the age of Taurus, which is Ptah. That's 246,000. Then we go to Gemini, which is Shu and Tefnu. Then we go to Cancer, which is Kepra. That's 10,000. Then we go another sign, another great age, which is Leo, which is Herukuti. Show them the symbol of that one Queen Mother Goddess that you just had up with the Sphinx looking at itself, at the image of the Sphinx looking at itself in the constellation. And so when you see this, that means we just counted backwards on our Ipitaru, on our Sba-t, on our ancient African Rasaurian Khemetic solar lunar calendar. We just counted back 12,000 years. Because the Sphinx, or Herukuti, or Hamashi, or Sekhmet, the feminine attribute of Herukuti, or Herukuti himself, or which most scholars call the Sphinx, was looking at its image in the sky. That is the spring equinox during the dawning, at the dawn of the great golden age of Heru. Here it is here. That one there you just had it, Queen Mother. And at this time, right there, on the right hand side is the megalithic monument of the Herukuti or Sekhmet, which they call the Sphinx. And 12,000 years ago, as it split the Milky Way galaxy, the constellation of Leo or Sekhmet or Herukuti was looking at itself in the sky. So that astronomical configuration indicates that they would say that that Herukuti or Sekhmet or the Sphinx was looking at its own image in the sky. But we know through paleoclimatology, please write that down, paleoclimatology, that 12,000 years ago was an ice age. They know that because of brown sediments that they've taken out from Alaska and from the South Pole, and through earth crustaceans. They knew through the layers of the earth between the natural disasters of the volcanoes, the ashes that built up with the sediment, and then the water from the mudslides, from the tsunamis, from the earthquakes, and all these things taken into effect. They found the 50-foot yards of sediment, and they know that paleoclimatology, yes, they know that during this 12,000 year cycle, the polar caps were melting. That means the ocean rose, and that means the Nile Valley Delta, in which the Sphinx, the pyramid, the Merkurs are on the top of the Giza Plateau. And as you go downward into the Sphinx Herukuti enclosure, which we'll call the Sphinx enclosure right now, just to keep this conversation going, we know that down below in the Sphinx enclosure, that was in front of the Nile, the riverbed of the Nile, Napi, being in front of the Herukuti enclosure, the Sphinx enclosure. Now it runs 5, 6, 7, 8 miles away from it, closer to Cairo, to the city of Cairo. But in antiquity, the riverbed ran right in front of the Herukuti or the Sphinx. So we know that at that time, the riverbeds has rose and the Sphinx was up to his neck in water because of paleoclimatology. For those scholars who want to do the due diligence, make sure you do that due diligence. So that means that there's no way that they could have built the Herukuti could have been built unless they had scuba dive equipment. It couldn't have been built. So that means now we have to go back around the phenomenon of precession or the precession of equinox, 26,000 years, add the 12,000 we just did, and that's 38,000 years ago. That's being very conservative. They just told you that humankind is 5,000 years old and we were hunters and gatherers. We was living up in trees. They're telling you all kinds of spooky Darwin's theory of evolution, that we came from apes. They got your mind so bedazzled. My ancestors didn't come from no apes. I'm born from the great line of Shem-Seruz. I am born from the loins of Heru and Heneru, who was born from Asar and Ast, who was born from Sba-t, who was born from Shu and Tefnu, who was born from the direct issue of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, the creator of light and radiation of heat movement. Now, this story they're telling you is nothing but a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I'm only here to address my Shem-Seruz, my Nagas, and all those who have fought so I can have you trace your way back. So now, here it is 38,000 years ago. Now, they found Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. But yet they're going to say, oh, that's 10,000 years ago. That's older than the pyramid. Göbekli Tepe is a baby compared to us. For millions and millions of years, our Ipeteru Shabitem Tuaru can trace your birth mother, the time you flew out the canal of life of your mother from her womb. We could trace that from there back to your maternal mother, whose name is AstMaatTfNut, the wife and consort of Asar, and we could trace it back over 10 billion years using the meteorological star timeline. It's just this one complete circle around here represents 26,000 years. Each side, 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, comes out to 26,000 years. Now, how many cycles have we been through on this planet? This isn't our first waltz. This isn't our first dance. This isn't our first rodeo. We've been here for millions and millions of years. So it's time for everybody to wake up, and we're going to break down. We're going to break down immediately as soon as we get our show next week. We're going to break down each one of the months, the color code, the 3 bars, and its relationship to the spherical diagram. And the Queen Mother is going to make sure that I stay to the narrative this time. She knows I'm an old man, almost 70 years old, and sometimes I drift. But I hope that you enjoyed this episode from the Queen Mother Goddess AstMaatTfNut and her humble teacher Ptah Asar here on our series of the precious treasure, immortality, and we will be back next week for sure. Yes, yes, yes. And I would like to say before we close it out, this has been sponsored by the Nagaship Association and the Nagatin Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment through the great Queen Mother Goddess AstMaatTfNut. This is her platform, and we are honored to be here. Like I say, please make all your donations to the Queen Mothers. She has a Cash App right there below. She has her link below that you can order your calendar. Make sure you get your calendar today. I got to beg you. I sell more calendars to the Ku Klux Klan than I sell to the black people. I sell not one Kemetic teacher has bought one calendar from me. Not Mefudishi, not Samaj Ptah, not Raketi Amen, not Kaba Kamini, not none of them. They've all vanished. They don't belong in the Kemetic. That's right. I'm mentioning names right now because I'm fed up. I am fed up with this Kemetic community who don't know what they're believing in. I asked them what they believe in. They said, Ptah's gone now. He's a hair trigger. Somebody cut the film. I just want to say that they do not know what they believe in. They believe in God. Philip Shock Matthews is an ordained minister right now from the Shock Metaphysics Spiritual Kemetic Wisdom School. They kicked me off the platform because my name was smeared. They didn't give me a trial. That's right. I'm saying it because I am fed up. Order your calendar today so that you can know for yourself. Don't let these teachers tell you how to tell time. Jabari starts off his show at the Center for the Restoration of Maat. Welcome to this Sunday show. Just saying Sunday out of your mouth is a violation to our cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality, and they all need to be held accountable. I don't care who you are. If I violate, I have to be held responsible. These teachers have to become responsible for the words out of their mouth or the words they're not saying out of their mouth. This is about our cultural, cosmic, conscious spirituality to achieve total enlightenment, to receive cosmic awareness, spiritual consciousness, and universal enlightenment, to understand our Creator. If I ask them today who they believe in, they're going to tell me they believe in Amen-Ra. The stupidity that just came out of their mouth to say that they believe in Amen-Ra as their Creator. Amen-Ra is a star date. Everybody, all my students, anybody who has a half a brain knows that the Temple of Luxor in Karnak has an avenue of sphinxes that's orientated to the spring equinox that has the heads of ram. And when the sun passes into that constellation, into that celestial alignment of Aries, which is Amen, then Amen became Amen-Ra. That's why the temple was dedicated to Amen-Ra, and that was 4,000 years ago. So everybody has to wake up. We're at war. They're going to exterminate us. Anything, it's in the food. It's in the water. So you have to wake up. You can't wait on these teachers. You have to learn how to tell cosmic time. Once you tell cosmic time, then you won't need anybody but yourself because you will see through ponderable matter. The ancestors and the Netherus and ancient ones explain it to you every day. And it's repetitious. The sun rises, the air blows, trees flow, the rivers flow. You have to attain your divine birthright. And I just want to say I thank the great Queen Mother AstMaatTfNut for allowing me to be on her platform for as much as I can today. And we'll be back next week to continue the series. And also, I'd like to say the words of Eternal Father, Asar Unefa Kentiamenti, that within the whole of the universe, nothing is ever added and nothing is ever lost. Atumra Hotep. Back to you, my great Queen Mother Goddess, AstMaatTfNut.
Dua u Sba-t Secret Asar. Sba Ramotep, would you like to address everyone before we leave?
Yes, I would like to give out an homework assignment to all us listening. A lot of the people on this platform or any platform, not one of you can say that you have seen the phenomenon within the spring equinox. So for your homework, even though we still got a couple hundred days to it, but I want you all to write this down. One, look for how long it takes the sun rises in your area of location. Count from an hour going back from that sunrise. On that time, I need you to wake up, look to the east, 23 degrees and a half from vertical north. And I want you date on as well. It's on the 239th day of the year. I'll repeat, the 239th day of the year. Make sure that you wake up an hour before sunrise, look outside to the east, and take a picture or describe what you see. And in closing, I want to give thanks to AstMaatTfNut. I want to also give thanks to Tasmania for sharing on his platform. I also want to give a big shout out to Crumb TV and to Crumb himself and all those who are affiliated with him. And definitely continue to go about your day. But if you want to make it even better, just seek me out and I'll do my best to point you back to your birthright. Atumrao.
Atum Rahotep, Dua u Sibas. So, once more, I am your hostess, AstMaatTfNut, and today your host has also been Sba-t Secret Asar and Sba Ramotep. We are here also streaming live on the Taz show. And Taz icon right there, that's his brand. And also you will see the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty brand. That's my page. That's my platform. So again, thanking, peace, gratitude to my humble brother, Tasmaniac Wolf, for inviting me to the platform. I enjoy working with my brother, Tasmaniac Wolf, and I continue to look forward to doing so with him. And again, we spoke of our brother, Crumb Snatcher. This is the Crumb TV edition of the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar. And we will see you all in a few days, and we will continue. And as Sba-t Secret Asar mentioned, we will be covering the first month. We will be going over the registered as color coded and speaking to you about the meaning of those and assisting you as you use your calendar. And for those of you who do not have your calendar, we look forward to sending your calendar to you. And those who have ordered their calendar today, we will get those calendars out to you as soon as possible. 3 to 5 days is the average shipping time. And Anouk Haru, I see that you purchased your calendar, and I will make sure that Sba-t Secret Asar is aware of that as well. And again, I speak peace, gratitude to you all. Dua, dua, woo for being here today. We'll see you in a few days. Peace to you.